Hey guys, this morning we're in just outside of Hutchinson, Kansas. We're at the Strataca Kansas Underground Salt Museum. Hoping we get to take the tour today. We'll see, but we're definitely going to go into the museum here and check it out. If we get to go into the mine tour, hopefully we'll get down to about 600 feet below ground. 650 feet below ground. So we're going to check out the museum now, and if we do catch the tour, then I'll show you the salt mine itself. So let's see what happens. All right, here we are in the Strataca lobby. Tickets were a little bit more than I saw on the internet. Not too bad. Come over here and give you an idea. This is kind of their price menu here. I got the senior discount, and today I'm only taking the blast pass. So it was 17 bucks for me, and then taxes a little over 18 bucks. So, as I said, this is the lobby area. I imagine they're pretty packed during the summertime when there's a lot of tourists around, but today it's pretty quiet, and I may be the only one on the tour. I'm not sure. We'll see. Well, I'm 650 feet down in the Strataca Salt Mine. What a great tour. I'm telling you, you get an opportunity to stop. It's well worth the money. Get to spend as much time really as you want down here. They'll get you down here, and then you leave on the next ship out, which is the elevator back up. But how cool is this? I mean, really, for me it cost 17 bucks, as I said earlier. You can't beat it. This is one of the coolest places that I've been in a while. I mean, I've enjoyed them all, but this is extra special. Anyways, hope you're enjoying the video. This is probably one of the most unique museums I've ever been to. It's very, very cool. I was kind of hesitant at first to fork out the $17, but man, I'm glad I did. This is so cool. Where are all the fossils? All right, we got something going on here. This is pretty cool. Like water. Everybody's swimming. It's probably be what it's like being under the sea. Sunlight coming through. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. So if this was under the water right now, this is how it would look. So I guess I should have to swim. Swim. Okay, maybe not. Well, let's go down here and see what's down here. Well, let's see. Like an old garage. Well, what do you know? We got Mike Rowe from Dirty Jobs. Apparently he was here doing some mining at one time. Cool. Nice. He was in here 2006, it looks like. 2006. Very cool. Kind of place I would expect to see him. This whole place to myself. No tour guides following me around, no other people, no noise, no distractions. This is wonderful. I picked an awesome day to come for sure. Not a soul in sight. No matter where I look, nobody around. Sweet. So what we're looking at is the Joy 11 BU loader, and it was capable of moving 5 tons of salt rock per minute. So apparently it would back up to the pile here after it had been blasted, and it would start kind of using the conveyor belt system. They back it in, it looked like, and then it would run up this conveyor, and then it would drop those tailings into the shuttle car. This is the shuttle car here, and the shuttle car then could be driven to another location where it would be transferred and taken to the surface. So if you look down here, you can see the conveyor system on the shuttle car. Pretty interesting. So this is where the operator side is. And his little jump seat. Won't look real comfortable. That seat doesn't look soft and plush. I'm sure they had a cushion, but by the end of the day, I'll bet your butt hurt.
As you look to your left, you'll see a rare sight, what the miners call a roof fall. The pieces on the floor used to be the roof, but over a number of years, the salt started sagging away from the compacted mud layer above it and eventually fell. Now, even though only a few rooms ever develop a roof sag, everywhere in the mine that people will walk, drive, or ride, we monitor the roof, and sags are removed when necessary. Can you imagine how it must have sounded when this roof fell? From 1923 to 1983, the miners used a rail system to transport salt from the mine face to the salt skip, where it was hoisted topside. Then, in 1983, they switched to a conveyor belt system. On the left is a car that was used to haul salt, and railroad tracks that were abandoned when mining left this area in the 1950s. The miners would use the same rails and ties over and over, since bringing more down the skip was both time-consuming and costly. Our train crew ripped up and hauled back abandoned rails and ties from the mine that were used for our train track. Almost 5,000 feet of rail for the track you're riding on.
I will say, of all the museums I've been to, including Route 66, this is probably one of the most unique and interesting, well thought out, well planned. I mean, I've seen a lot of good ones. Don't get me wrong, and there's a lot of great ones on Route 66. But I gotta say, this is probably one of the top on my list. This is just awesome. Highly recommend you come here if you get a chance. Again, it's in Hutchinson, Kansas. Prices are very reasonable. If you want the full tour, it's a little bit more, but I bet you it's worth it, another hour. This is way cool. This is one of my favorite little movies, was Twister. And here's Dorothy 2 right here. This is so cool. I like that. Well, the other one said enter to the left, so I thought I was driving.
Well, that's, we get stuck on our formalities here, because that's the way everybody, I'm told to do it that way.
My excuse is I'm just following instructions.
And of course our instructions are the same as on the train. No putting your hands above your head, no putting them out to the side. There is going to be one stop where we can get off and get you some salt, a little piece of salt. But until then, just try to stay in the tram. If you drop anything, just tap me on the shoulder and I'll go ahead and
Very good.
stop and pick it up.
What's your name?
My name's Robert.
Robert. I'm Dennis. Good to meet you, Robert.
And after all, we are going out on a dark ride, so it's going to be kind of dark out there. And I'll be the only one with the light. So, are we ready?
Uh-huh.
All right. To our left here is the rail bed. The rail bed was actually the lifeblood of the mine from 1923 to 1983. In 83, they switched from the rail system to an automated conveyor belt system to move the ore from the face of the mine to topside. It actually has a gooseneck that comes across here, and it's fed by the electric trolley wire that goes across the ceiling.
Yeah.
And the springs were so tight on it that when it would take off or stop, it would jump up and down. So the miners called it the galloping goose, and they ended up using it as a reserve engine. Each one of these ore cars would hold 4 tons of salt. The salt in its raw form would be called muck. And you would have 2 miners called muckers, and they would have a pick, a shovel, and a hammer. And they would have to break up all the big raw ore, small enough that they could hand load it into these cars. And they kept this car separate from all the other cars, from the ore and from the miners. We have some examples here of some original wooden mine boxes, dynamite boxes, and you'll see some of those throughout the course of the mine. And in the 50s and the 60s, they switched from the wooden boxes to what we have here is our cardboard boxes. And then around the 70s, late 60s, early 70s, they switched from dynamite and they used ANFO, which is ammonium nitrate, fertilizer mixed with diesel fuel. It was more stable than dynamite, had more bang for its buck. And even today, we still use that. Now we're entering into the section of the mine that started mining in the 30s and the 40s. Watch this little bump here. This is what we call a room and pillar mining. As you notice, we have 50-foot rooms and we have 40-foot pillars. And the reason for that is ventilation. It was easier to move air through this type of mine. And as we come up here to the right, light's going to come on. And this is what we call a rib wall. Now the rib wall is actually the history of the mine. Each one of those ribs represents one blast, one dynamite blast. And it cuts in about 8 feet for every blast. So if you want to know how long it takes to make a room of this size, you just count the ribs on the wall and that'll tell you how many blasts it took. Roof that has been cut by a continuous drum mining machine. Underground Vaults and Storage and Strataca bought this machine from an old coal mine, and it's used to make a very secure ceiling. So anywhere that we don't have to have a hard hat, say our bathrooms and our event center, this is the ceiling that we have. And that machine was bought specifically for that purpose. And as we pull up here, the light's going to come on to our right, and there we have an example of a crystal pod. The water has rushed into this crack or this pipe, and throughout the course of time it has filled up, evaporated, filled up and evaporated. So you see the darker sediment at the bottom would have settled to the bottom and the water would have stuck to the top, and when it evaporated all the salt would have stayed there. So that's pure 99% sodium chloride right there in that crystal pod.
Wow.
So they decided to start using these brattice curtains. And here's an example behind this gob wall of an original brattice curtain. It was done with some wool or jute. And today we still use the brattice curtain, but ours are reinforced vinyl. And you'll see those throughout the course of the mine. And here to our right is an example of one of the electric fans that they would move around on skids to help direct the airflow. And of course, I'm sure that's not OSHA approved, as you see those guys standing there while the fan's moving. And they couldn't use it anymore. They would just push it off to the side and leave it. And that was good for us as curators of the museum because all the machinery is left down here for us. And this is an example of that right here. This is actually a 1932 Chevy pickup truck. Now, as you can tell, when we bring vehicles down here, we don't need a roof or a ceiling or windows or doors or anything like that because we don't have any elements down here. You notice anything else that's missing? It's missing the motor.
Oh, it's electric.
The reason for that is even in the 20s when the mine was open, the miners were very conscientious about emission controls. They didn't want to burn fossil fuels. So either it is, all the machinery that's down here has been converted to electric, like our tram that we're riding on now, or this truck, or to a biodiesel, which is a B100, which is nothing more than cooking oil. So you're more than welcome to pick you a little piece of salt. We do have some bags right next to our donation box there. You can just get you a bag and throw a little piece of rock in it, and we'll continue on to our tour.
Ugh.
And as you learned on your train, do not lick the salt.
Right? Well, there's just way too much to show in one video. I might have to break it up into two. If I don't, you're not going to get to see everything. And I don't know how I can possibly give you a good idea of what all there is to see here and do. Staff is amazing. They're very friendly and definitely helpful. Very knowledgeable too. I've enjoyed this. I can't tell you how much. Again, I keep repeating this. 17 bucks, man. You can't beat it. 17 for me is, I don't know, $20, I guess. I'm an old man, so I get a discount. But definitely worth the money. Can get a little pricey if you have a family, but I'm telling you, this is so much fun and so well worth it. You definitely get a lot of value. Incredible. Nice museum. Well, guys, I have to say that was amazing and so much fun. Worth every penny spent. Staff was friendly, helpful, knowledgeable. One of the most unique museums I've ever been to. And if you get a chance, you definitely need to stop. It's worth every penny you'll spend. Very unique, well put together museum. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Tell your friends about me. I'm trying to grow my channel, and it doesn't cost you anything to subscribe. Sure, help me out. But I hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you in the next one.